A pleasant day to the future mathematics teachers of the NEUST San Isidro campus. This day, we'll be dealing with another lesson in Sem 6, the plane and solid geometry, and that is all about the unit 3 or the quadrilaterals. Let us first state the different names of quadrilaterals. When we say quadrilaterals, it is a four-sided polygon. Basta meron siyang apat na sides, quadrilateral siya. The first one is the trapezium, or we also call this as trapezoid. Then we also have parallelogram, then rectangle, then we have the square and rhombus, then the last one is the kite. These are the different types of quadrilaterals. This time, let us have the different properties of the quadrilateral with its sides. Let's start with the trapezoid or trapezium. So a trapezium only has one pair of parallel sides. Iisa lang yung parallel side niya. Ito lang yun. Okay? And then these two sides are not parallel. Once again, when we say parallel, no matter how long you extend the two lines, they will not intersect. And this symbol is the symbol for being parallel. These two sides are parallel. Next, parallelogram. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral with two pairs of parallel sides and opposite sides are equal. So kung kanina dun sa trapezium, iisang pares lang ng parallel sides ang mayroon. Dito sa parallelogram, meron tayong dalawang pares ng parallel sides. And take note that these two parallel sides or these two opposite sides which are parallel to one another are also congruent. They are equal, meaning if this is 5 inches, this is also 5 inches. If this is 3, then this is also 3. How about the sides of the rectangle? The sides of the rectangle are also two pairs of parallel sides and opposite sides are equal. Why? Because a rectangle is a parallelogram. So yung rectangle, meron lang siyang nadagdag na property kaya siya naging rectangle. But actually, a rectangle is a parallelogram. Then a square. Take note that a square is also a parallelogram. And a square is also a rectangle where two pairs of parallel sides, meron siya, ayan, dalawang pares ng parallel sides and all sides are equal. How about the rhombus? Rhombus, ganun din, meron siyang two pairs of parallel sides and all these parallel sides are congruent. So a rhombus is also a parallelogram. So that means a square is also a rhombus, but not all rhombus are squares. And then the last one is the kite. Sa kite naman, we have two pairs of equal sides. Two pairs of equal sides, meaning, but these two pairs must be adjacent sides. When we say adjacent sides, magkatabi. Okay? So these two sides are adjacent and they are congruent. These two sides are also adjacent and they are congruent. So basically, these are the properties of parallelogram according to sides. With the same with the triangles, we have classifications of triangles according to sides. Then, with quadrilaterals, we also have quadrilaterals according to, or we also have properties of quadrilaterals according to sides and angles. So we move on to the properties of the quadrilaterals according to the angles. If it is a parallelogram, then opposite angles are equal, meaning this angle is congruent to this angle, then this angle is also congruent to this angle. Kapag parallelogram, since we have two pairs of opposite sides which are congruent, then kasabay nun, nagkakaroon din tayo ng two opposite angles which are congruent also. And take note that a rectangle is a parallelogram. So all these properties, all the properties of parallelogram na ipamana niya yon kay rectangle. But the thing is, in here, in a rectangle, all angles are right angles. But as you can see, these two opposite angles are still the same. These two opposite angles are also the same. So, ibig sabihin, ang rectangle, parallelogram talaga siya, no? Whether properties according to sides or according to angles ang pinag-uusapan natin. But in this case, naging special lang siya because all the angles are right angles, 90 degrees. And then, a square, all angles are right angles kasi a square is a rectangle and a square is also a parallelogram and a square is a rhombus pagka ang pinag-uusapan natin ay sides. Then in a rhombus, opposite angles are equal. Yun nga kasi ang rhombus ay parallelogram din. So dala-dala nilang lahat yung properties. Meaning, si rectangle at saka si rhombus para silang magkapatid. Anak sila ni parallelogram. Okay? And then nagkaroon pa sila ng pamangkin. Ito yon, si square. Kasi pag pinagsama mo yung properties ni rhombus at yung properties ni rectangle, meron tayong regular quadrilateral, and a regular quadrilateral is a square. When we say regular quadrilateral or regular polygon, ibig sabihin ng regular polygon, all angles are congruent, then all angles are also congruent. We move on to the other type of quadrilateral, which is the CAD. One opposite pair of equal angles. So ito lang yung magkamukha sa kanila. Ito, hindi yan magkamukha. And then, sa trapezoid, wala tayong masyadong property doon kasi pwedeng mag-vary yun, pwedeng mag-iba-iba. Okay? So, how about with respect to the diagonals of quadrilaterals? Kapag parallelogram, then we have two diagonals that bisect each other. Pag sinabi natin nag-bisect, ibig sabihin by meaning two, hinahati yung isa't isa into two congruent parts. So like for example, if we are referring to this diagonal, hinati siya ng isang diagonal into two congruent parts. If this is 4, then this is also 4. If this is 3, then this is also 3. Parallelogram. So dala-dala yan ang lahat ng parallelograms. So, yun nga lang, kapag rectangle, diagonals are equal and they bisect each other also. Kapag square, syempre, ganun din, they are equal and diagonals bisect at right angle. This is right angle, 90 degrees. And then if it is a rhombus, the same with the parallelogram, kasi anak nga siya ni parallelogram, diagonals bisect at right angles, and then it divides the diagonals to two equal parts. So, binabisect ng bawat isa yung bawat diagonal. How about with respect to kite? Yan. They are perpendicular. Diagonals of kite are perpendicular. So, ibig sabihin, nakaka-form sila ng right angle. Ganon din sa trapezoid or trapezium, walang masyadong consistent na property in terms of diagonals because trapezoid, nagpo-vary yung itsura niya, nagpo-vary yung kanyang diagonals. So these are the different properties of our quadrilaterals according to sides, angles, and diagonals. How about reflective symmetry? When we say symmetry, di ba pag sinabi natin symmetry, yung nasa kanan is totally congruent to what is in the left. So magkamukhang magkamukha. So alin dito ang may reflective symmetry? Sa parallelogram ay sa rectangle, pag naglagay tayo dito ng line of symmetry, then this side is congruent to this side. Pag naglagay tayo dito ng line, then that side, the upper part is congruent to the lower part. Dito naman sa square, marami tayong reflective symmetry here. Kapag nag-draw ka dito, so we have two congruent triangles. Dito, two congruent triangles. Then here, two congruent rectangles. Then kapag dito naman, two congruent rectangles. And they are reflective. They are symmetrical to one another. Then sa rhombus here, so syempre hindi po pwede dito yung line of symmetry. Then sa kite, ayan yung kanyang reflective symmetry. So how about for the rotational symmetry? When we say rotational symmetry, ibig sabihin nun pag in-rotate natin, symmetrical pa rin sila. Okay, so sa parallelogram, ilang ikot ang kailangan natin? Dalawang ikot, ano? So dalawang 90 degrees para magkaroon tayo ng reflective symmetry. Sa rectangle, dalawa din. Sa square, kahit ano yan actually, ganun pa rin yung kanya symmetrical, kahit na iikot-ikot mo siya. And then sa rhombus, dalawa. Sa kite and trapezium, wala. Okay? So we focus on trapezium, the angles of trapezium. We have different types of trapezoid here or trapezium. One is the general trapezium, isosceles trapezium, right-angled trapezium, and the right-angled trapezium. So these two are both right-angled trapezium. Pero yung isa nakatayo, yung isa naman ay nakahiga. So these are the angles. Kapag general trapezium, walang magkakamukhang angles. But we have two parallel sides. Lagi yan we have two parallel sides. Yan. One pair. Then kapag naman right-angled trapezium, then we have here two right angles. Two right angles. And then here, two right angles also. In an isosceles trapezium, we have two congruent sides here. So, the angles are congruent here, dito sa base 1, and then dito sa base 2, congruent din. Okay, ibig sabihin, these two are the bases, these two are the parallel sides of the trapezium. How about with respect to the diagonals? Kapag isosceles trapezium, diagonals are equal. How about the reflective symmetry? Kapag isosceles, meron tayo. Ayan, pwede natin mag-draw tayo dito ng line of symmetry. Yun lang. So, those are the different properties of quadrilaterals. So, if you want to try naming all these, your task is to make a schematic diagram of the properties of quadrilaterals in one whole sheet of bond paper, whether long or short, and then place it in your portfolio. We move on to the perimeter and area. So perimeter, let us first define what perimeter is all about. This is a sort of review. It is the distance around the outside edges of any flat surface. Then think of a perimeter as one-dimensional quantity, meaning ang unit natin dito laging to the power of 1. The units of perimeter is length, of course. That's the unit. Ang sinusukat natin dito ay haba. Examples are inches, feet, meters, miles, centimeters, yards, and so on. For the area, it is the amount of surface inside the flat shape. Ito yung buong surface, ano? So kung ang sinusukat natin ay yung floor, pagka perimeter ang hinahanap natin doon, yung gilid lang ng floor. Kapag area ang hinahanap natin, ang sinusukat natin doon ay yung buong surface ng floor. Then think of area as a two-dimensional quantity because an area is always in the square. The units of area are square length, like what I've said. Examples are square feet, square inches, square miles, square meter, or in symbols we have square feet, square inches, or square miles. Please do not read this as feet squared, inches squared, miles squared. The correct way of reading this would be square feet, square inches, or square miles. Let's start with the simple one, the regular quadrilateral, which is the square. How can we solve for the perimeter if the measurement of the side is given by S? So alam naman natin na ang square, lahat ng sides niyan ay magkakamukha. So lahat kung S ito, kung S yung isa, then S na lahat yan. Para makuha mo yung kanyang perimeter, i-add mo lang lahat ng S. So ilang S meron tayo? 4. So S plus S plus S plus S is equal to 4S, and that is how we solve for the perimeter of the square. P equals 4S. And then for the area, that is the length times the width. if the length is S, then the width is also S. So that is S times S. Basically, the area of a square is A equals S squared. So that is how simple solving for the perimeter and area of the square. So suppose that S is equal to 10. What is the perimeter? Perimeter is equal to 4 times 10, that is 40. And the area is equal to 100 because 10 squared equals 100. We move on. The rectangle. The rectangle is a quadrilateral that has a pair of parallel lines of different lengths. Yan yung sabi natin, ano? So, yung length dito sa taas, saka dito sa baba, these two are congruent, and here, these two are also congruent. If this is L and this is W, paano natin makukuha ang perimeter? Ina-add lang lahat ng edges. So, we have dalawang L, so that's 2L, then dalawang W, so you have 2W. Our formula in solving for the perimeter of a rectangle would be 2 length plus 2 width. And then for the area, we multiply the height or the length and the width. So area is equal to length times width. Suppose that length is equal to 5 and then width is equal to 4. What would be the perimeter? So i-double mo lang yung length. 2 times 5 is 10. Then double the width. 2 times 4 is 8. Then 10 plus 8 is equal to 18. That's the perimeter already. Then for the area, you just multiply the length and width. So you have 5 times 4. The answer is 20. For the parallelogram, so this is the review for the property of the parallelogram. It is a four-sided object that has two pairs of parallel lines. The angles formed by the lines are not right angles. Hindi katulad sa rectangle na right angles lahat ng napo-form. Dito sa parallelogram, hindi. That is the reason why we need to draw a line inside or outside the rectangle which is perpendicular to the other base. Okay, so to find the perimeter of the parallelogram, you just sum the sides. Then for the area, that is base times the height. So this is the height. And this height is perpendicular to one of the sides. And then for the area of a trapezoid, for the area of the trapezoid, the formula would be 1/2 the product of the height and the sum of the bases. So, kukuhanin muna natin yung sum ng bases, meaning, i-add natin yung base 1 saka yung base 2. So, this is our base 1 and this is our base 2. We get the sum and then divide it by 2. Midpoint yun actually. Ang pagkuha ng area ng trapezoid is the median times the height. So, that's it. Pero kung ayaw nyo nang kumuha ng median at meron namang base 1, meron namang base 2, you simply add base 1 and base 2, then you multiply it to the height and then divide it by 2. This is the formula. The height of a trapezoid is the perpendicular distance between the two bases. Tama naman yan, ano? So that is the distance between the two bases, but it should be perpendicular, meaning nakakabuo siya ng right angle. We move on to the area of a rhombus or a kite. The area of a rhombus or a kite is equal to half the product of the lengths of the diagonals. Meaning, the formula in solving for the area of a rhombus and kite are the same. And then for the perimeter, the same lang. Kasi kapag perimeter, you add all the sides, then you'll have the perimeter. Once again, the area of a rhombus and kite is 1/2 of the product of the lengths of the diagonals. Ang kailangan natin dito ay yung measurement ng kanilang mga diagonals. Ito yon para sa kite. And then you multiply the measurement of the two diagonals and then divide it by 2 to get the area of the rhombus or kite. Reminder, a rhombus is also a parallelogram. We will use A equals base times height most of the time. Yeah. So, kung hindi naman given sa rhombus ang kanyang diagonals, pwede natin gamitin yung formula in solving for the area of a parallelogram since a rhombus is a parallelogram. Let us have an example here. Find the area of trapezoid ABCD. By the way, pag nagpangalan tayo ng rectangle, we name it, ng quadrilateral, we name it before their vertices. So A, B, C, D at dapat sunod-sunod. Ano? Okay, show the formula, substitution, and simplify. If you want to try this, please do so. Just post this video, and then if you want to check if your answer is right or wrong, just continue with this. In this case, we have a trapezoid with given one of the bases, which is 11, and then the height is also given, which is 12 feet, and then here we have 5, meaning this is 11, then 11 plus 5 is 16. So meron na tayong dalawang bases, isang 11 at saka isang 16. So sabi natin kanina, para makuha natin yung area ng isang trapezoid, ina-add natin yung dalawang bases and then i-divide natin yun by 2, then we multiply it by height. Let's try. So you will have this formula, and then by substitution we will have 1/2 times 12 plus 1/2 times 12 times the quantity of 11 plus 16. Then simplifying it further, take note that 1/2 of 12 is 6, then 11 plus 16 is equal to 27. Then we multiply 6 by 27, you will have an area of 162 square feet. Let us have another example. A car window is shaped like the trapezoid shown. If the area of the window is 504 square inches, find the measure of the missing base. Show all steps. In this case, the given value is the area of the trapezoid. Tapos meron din tayong base at saka measurement of the height. Ang hahanapin natin ay yung measurement ng other base. So we just write the formula and then substitute all the values. A is 504, 1/2 of the height, which is 18, times the quantity of base 1, which is 20. So ang nawawala dito ay base 2. And then we simplify it further. 1/2 of 18 is 9, times the quantity of 20 plus base 2. Para mawala na dito si 9, so divide the whole equation by 9. So you will have 504 divided by 9 is equal to 56. Then to solve for the second base, by applying the addition property of equation, we add -20 to both sides of the equation. So B now is equal to 56 minus 20 is 36 inches. And that is the measurement of the other base. Let us have an example in finding the area of a kite. In this case, we have here, this is 1 centimeter, this is 4. So the total measurement of the diagonal here is 5. Here we have 3 and 3. So the total of this diameter is 6. To find the area, that is so to find the area, that is 1/2 of the diameter 1 times the diameter 2. So you will have 1/2 of 6 times 5. So that is 15, because 6 times 5 is 30 and 1/2 of that is 15 square centimeters. Another example, find the area of rhombus RSDU with an area of 100 square feet. So the given here is the area of the rhombus. Then find the measure of the missing diagonal. Once again, you just rewrite the formula in solving for A, and then substitute the value. So you will have A, which is 120, 1/2 of 24 times the diagonal 2. And then simplifying this further, you will have 120 equals 1/2 of 24 is 12. Then to solve for D, you divide the whole equation by 12. 120 by 12 is equal to 10. Meaning the measurement of the other diagonal is equal to 10 feet. And that would be all. The properties of the quadrilaterals, different types of quadrilaterals, and the different ways of solving the perimeter and area of the quadrilaterals. If you have any more questions with regards to the topic that we discussed today, please feel free to send a message in our group chat, SEM6 DSE 2B. Once again, thank you very much. Keep safe always and God bless.